and live.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Human Resources Committee meeting. It looks like we have a pretty good agenda here. So what I will ask the committee members to do is, as the first matter of business, is to approve the minutes from our May 25th, 2022 meeting. They were forwarded to you earlier. I did make a couple of revisions to them, which I sent to Judge Smalkin, Bobby Witt, to Pam and Sean. So I don't know whether those revisions, if the minutes are, can be approved with those modifications. Does anyone have any comments or requested changes or problems with the minutes at this point?
I think I've been looked at and it seems to be appropriate. So I would go with it. But
they look good to me as well.
Thank you. It was just some wordsmithing. So with the concurrence of the committee members, the minutes will be approved. And then the next order of business will be, I believe, a discussion of the career ladder. I'm not sure who will be discussing that, but I'll defer to MES staff.
Yes, Mr. Ford's got that.
All right.
You see it. Yeah.
Good. Moving forward closer to the.
No, yeah, the mics aren't up.
I didn't know what.
Mic's up there.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Mike's up there this time. That'd be full. So we want to take a look at the equipment operator career path and classification series. We have a number of equipment, and we'll go through those in a minute, but we have a number of positions, equipment operator positions that start at the entry level and work their way up to a senior and lead equipment operator. And then we have another series where our field operations staff can move forward in a management track. So what we did in this particular case is merge the two. So it allowed for a career path for folks who are entering the service as an equipment operator trainee to a potential opportunity down the road as they gain experience to move into a management track. So why we thought we needed to do that? Number one, the obvious, it allows us to establish a solid career path for those equipment operators. And we emphasize training and professional growth to allow for a progression to a management level position. We do have difficulty attracting and retaining these positions. So outside of and we do have a competitive wage at this point. But in addition to that, again, this will allow folks who have a desire to move forward into a management track the opportunity to do so. And as anything in this market, depending on where you are, there could be difficulty competing with the higher paying positions outside of MES. So the recommended changes to this classification, the first thing we looked at was, again, allowing for a progression to establish a pathway to management. We're moving the lead operator classification from a grade 6 to a grade 5, and then move the field operations supervisor from a grade 5 to a grade 6. This is the progression in management. So the field operations supervisor is a management position. The lead operator classification would be working for that person, for that position. And so it made sense to move their grade down. They were at a grade 4 prior to the salary study. And I think this is another case where we had a confusion over the difference between a lead and a senior position. And so the grade was one grade higher than it needed to be. That still, with that change, won't require any of our current lead equipment operators to take a pay cut. Current cap salary ranges from $53,000 to $73,000, and the grade 5 salary range is $48,000 to $84,000. So all of our existing operators are in that pay range for a grade 5. And the same goes on the moving the field operations supervisor up a grade. The current salary range for those folks currently are 65,000 to 78. The grade 6 range is 53 to 93. So those folks are still within the grade range for a grade 6. So it won't have any financial impact on the agency either. We won't have to make major adjustments to salaries to accommodate the grade change. We did provide a Excel worksheet that walks through in detail the changes. I'm not going to read all those here now. The committee will have an opportunity to review those in detail. But they're establishing basically what we've done is establish a definitive training, certification, and experience milestones for each of these positions. We do have when they get into the management track, we do have MES management training that those folks who are in that track will need to complete. We also now require a third-party heavy equipment operator training that becomes part of this requirements for certification as well. And again, we've established more consistent level of experience within each track when we made the changes from the existing classifications. So lastly,
Tim, can I
benefits.
ask you a quick question?
Absolutely.
How does this track to, let's say, you're going up to Pennsylvania or Virginia or something like that, that has similar things that we have? So where do we sort of fall into this? Just, we're a little state, and
Well, I don't think the salary study looked at neighboring states. It did look at in the region, and we're competitive. The problem is that we wanted to also include a more aggressive, not aggressive, but a more ambitious opportunity for our employees to move past those equipment operator positions if they wanted to.
Exactly. That's the good thing.
So the benefits again are equipment operators that have the desire to move forward. This establishes a career path for them. It provides because of the additional requirements for certification and training, it provides our customers with a much more highly skilled and motivated workforce that increases customer satisfaction and customer retainment. And it attracts and retains equipment operators, which would in turn strengthen our agency teams. And we're hoping that we minimize our vacancies. The easiest thing in the world is to retain employees. If you want to maintain a low vacancy rate, the first thing you want to look at is retaining employees. And we hope that will help us do so here. So that's my presentation.
Well said, and I think on the right track. Even if it isn't to Pennsylvania, it's going to stay here. So
these positions are highly competitive, both across the private and public sector. So from an employee perspective, if you're looking at this type of a series and the type of training are offered, it allows them also to transfer those same skills. They're transferable to the private sector or to other municipal county employers. So they become a much more well-rounded employee. And again, when you do that, you improve customer satisfaction. You improve customer satisfaction. You maintain those customers, retain those customers.
good. Thank you.
Judge, for purposes of the board, what I think we need to do is the committee needs to at least make a motion that the committee will be recommending these changes to the board. So if I may, could I pose the motion for the group to consider?
I so move.
Thank you. Well, I'll pose the question first. I mean, we'll need a motion for the reasons set forth by Mr. Ford to combine the equipment operator track with the field management track and to move the lead operator classification from a grade 6 to grade 5 and move the field operations supervisor classification from a grade 5 to 6. If there are no other changes to the phrasing of that motion, I guess, or proposed motion, we need to entertain a motion for that. And
I think it's probably a good idea. So again, I'll move for it.
And Ms. Wong, there are some new training requirements that go along with these other changes. Do you want to incorporate those additional training requirements into the motion?
Yes,
I'm sorry, and to also establish training, certifications, and education milestones. I forgot to do that. Thank you, Sean.
and I agree to that motion as well.
So Judge Smalkin will, he's so moved, and will there be a second on that motion?
I will second that.
Thank you, Mr. Witt. So with that, we'll pass along this recommendation to the board. I assume there were no other discussion matters. All right.
On Tim's Ford, yeah, and on Tim's, yes, I think we've got that covered.
I think the next item on the agenda was the performance-based compensation.
And we have another career path.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's right. Engineer. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Good afternoon. I'm Marty Dolliner. MES is seeking to restructure the engineering classifications to establish a clear and solid career path for our engineers with an emphasis in education, training, and professional growth. We've had some difficulty attracting the mid to senior level engineers. Most of that stems from difficulty competing with higher paying positions outside of MES in the private sector, and also some federal positions, you know, that offer a lot of benefits that we don't have. Our current career path for engineers includes 4 levels of engineering classifications, from the assistant engineer through the senior engineer. We also have an engineering section chief, but a position that I think there's only 2 currently in the agency. So that's there's not very many of those. Just for reference, we have 21 employees that fill an engineering position in this classification series. We have other engineers too, but they hold positions outside of this classification series. So going into some of the recommendations, mostly the recommendations include establishing training, certifications, and education milestones that are clear. So that's not just, you know, an automatic, you know, years experience. We want them to grow and be more skilled and provide better services to our clients. We're also adding 2 new classifications, so we go from 4 to 6, so that'll give more frequent growth opportunities for our engineers. But specifically, the first recommendation is to move the associate classification from a grade 8 to a grade 7. This was actually the grade that it was before the comp study, and we'd like to reduce the years of experience required from 3 to 2. And this would give an earlier opportunity for our entry-level engineers who are coming in with 0 years experience. So they'll be able to potentially have a growth opportunity sooner. We also like to add an additional classification, the associate engineer 2, at a grade 8 and 4 years of experience, which would also be an opportunity that the associate engineer level could be able to have some growth earlier. And then we'd like to recommend moving the project engineer classification from a grade 8 to a grade 9 to better align with classifications within this career ladder that we're proposing, and also better align with other similar classifications in the grade 9, which include project managers, a senior lead environmental specialist. We thought they were more equivalent of that grade 9 than a grade 8. We'd also like to add an additional classification level of the project engineer 2 at a grade 10 and 8 years of experience. This would give our project engineers an earlier growth opportunity and fill that gap before that senior engineer level that's further up. And then we'd like to increase the required years experience for the senior engineer and the engineer section chief from 8 years to 10 years. So the table summarizes what our proposed ladder will look like. One of the things that wasn't clear or part of our classification before was having milestones of professional development, and we're requiring 8 professional development hours for each year that they're in each of the classifications. So they're listed on this table. And with it, having these 6 levels for the engineer as opposed to 4, we're hoping to retain our engineers and also attract some engineers. And hopefully, if this is approved, once again, we'd like to attract and retain our engineers to provide better services to our clients and minimize our vacancies and increase billable hours. And also just, emphasizing education, training, and professional growth, not just years experience.
If I may, Judge, I'm sorry, Ms. Delanar, was that it, that you were finished?
Yeah, unless there's any questions.
Yeah, I have another question. How much is known across MES as to these particular things that we're looking at for increases? I mean, has it been locked up somewhere, or do people understand this is what we're looking for?
I think one of the things with this, administration under Dr. Glass is this is one of the major things that we're trying to roll out to our team so they understand and they can clearly see what kind of growth there is and opportunities.
Okay. Well, this is important as to what we should or shouldn't say to everybody else, and just want to make sure I've got it under my skin if I can.
I did have one thought.
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Mr. Witt.
In the documents you sent us, it said training towards getting the PE license. I question if maybe at the senior engineer level, maybe the PE should be required, because at that point they are becoming more valuable to you.
Some people don't pass. I don't know why the managing directors decided not to include that. We could ask, but I believe it's probably because the test is rigorous and it's an 8-hour test for civil engineering and environmental engineering. And sometimes people that are talented managers and project manager engineers, people face challenges with passing that 8-hour test. I mean, I passed it, but
I didn't have to take it in Texas.
And it's not grandfathered, years of, by the way, and it used to be grandfathered. So I'm assuming that's why Ms. Dolliner didn't.
Partly, we're highly encouraging it in this
Yeah,
matter.
yeah, it's highly encouraging.
Even the professional growth hours are geared to
Right.
that
I mean,
development.
the one thing is, and I think why it's been a little difficult to require it is because we don't seal anything. We
Right.
hire consultants
Exactly.
that do the design for us, and they're the ones responsible for sealing documents.
So that's why.
And some just go on an operations or management
The
track
track,
where
yeah.
they're not doing technical specifications and
Yeah.
stuff.
Okay.
On the project management too.
Thank you.
Any other questions before we take a motion? If not, I'd like to ask for a motion based on the rationale and description provided by Ms. Dolinar, to recommend changes to the engineering classifications that would move the associate engineer classification from a grade 8 to grade 7 and reduce the required years of experience from 3 to 2 years. To add an additional classification level referred to as the associate engineer 2, to move the project engineer classification from a grade 8 to grade 9, to add an additional classification level referred to as the project engineer 2 after the project engineer level to create additional growth, increase the required years of experience for the senior engineer and engineering section chief classifications, and to establish training, certifications, and education milestones. If we could have a motion, that would be great.
I'll make the motion.
Approve as well.
Thank you. The motion passes and we will make this recommendation to the board of directors.
Thank you all very much. It was well put. Thank you.
So, Mr. Patel, I'm sorry, Ms. Wong.
I was just going to say the next order of business is for the employee performance-based compensation, which Dr. Glass will address. Thank you.
Mr. Patel will start it off. Mr. Ford wants to leave because he's got work to do. Wrap it up. But Mr. Patel will start us off and then I'll wrap up and then I'll description. Come on, stay. You're good.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
You are aware that MES compensation plan includes performance-based compensation. Maryland Environmental Service employees have done an excellent work for this year. We are approaching the end of fiscal year 23. The number of projects have increased, the number of billable hours have increased, the number of billable labor has increased. We have put the overhead expenses in control. So MES's performance, financial performance is very good. And since our employees get compensated on their performance-based evaluation, we completed the evaluation of the employees as of March 31, 2023, which included the performance period of April 1, 2022 to March 31, 2023. So as explained in this memo, that the employees who have not completed their probationary period as of March 31, 2023 will not be eligible for the salary increase. All the other employees will receive a salary increase based on the table that you see here. For 2.99 and under, no PVC, 3 to 3.49, 3%, 3.5 to 3.99, 4%, and 4 to 5, 5%. This percentage increases are in line with the state of Maryland increases for fiscal year 24. The state of Maryland employees will receive 2% COLA plus one step increase, which is usually 2% of the salaries. If the MES, if the state employees are working for state more than 5 years, then they get 2% COLA, 2% one step increase, and additional step increase for another 2%. So it will be to 6%. And majority of the state employees have long-term tenure. So majority of the state employees will fall in that 6% tier. In addition, we surveyed some of the counties surrounding us and in the Maryland, and some of the major counties are giving 5% salary increase plus one merit step increase. So the state merit step is about 2%. I don't know what the merit step increase for the other major counties are, but they are giving 5% increase plus 1 merit step increase. Some of the smaller counties have 3 to 4.5% increase plus a step increase if that step increase or merit increase is already adopted in those counties. So the lowest one, if they have 3% or in our survey, 3%, and even if they don't have the step increase, those are for the very small counties. Most of the other counties are giving step increase plus 4%, 4.5%, 5% increase. In addition, the state is going to match $600, up to $600 in the deferred compensation for the state employees. We are not presenting that 600 match at this time. We will wait until January, and based on our performance, the financial performance, we may come to the board to get that $600 additional match for MES employees. MES employees are in 401k plan, and we're gonna defer on that $600 match, which state is giving starting July. There's another part of this memo here, which is related to the salary card. MES's salary card was static since 2017. The salary card defines the minimum salary for the grade, the midpoint, and the maximum salary for the grade. It was static since 2017. Last year, we increased the salary card by 10%, which is to account for all the way from 2017 to 2022. Just the salary increase in 22 were close to 9%. So this salary card every year needs to be reviewed, because otherwise, we are not keeping up with the salary increases or the inflation or the salary increases by other similar entities that are similar to MES. So we are proposing that we increase the salary card by a maximum percentage approved by the board for performance-based compensation. So here we have 3 to 5%. So what we are asking is that we should change the salary card. We would like to change the salary card to increase by 5% in the minimum salary for the grade, the midpoint, and the highest, the maximum salary for the grade. Dr. Glass will add some to it, and then I'll be glad to answer any questions you have.
Well, given that Mr. Patel said everything in the memo, the only thing I'd like to add is to repeat that, we had some serious challenges at the beginning of this fiscal year, and to a person, the MES staff stepped up and we met our goals and exceeded those goals, and exceeded goals that we're starting our strategic plan for the 5 years, and we were uncomfortable as we set a 4% labor revenue goal, and you'll find out next week that we more than tripled that to date. So I strongly support everything. Also, we can look back at the frozen salary card, and we did both cap people that were nearing the end of their grade and froze anyone that was over their grade because of this lack of keeping up with adjustments to the salary card for the better part of 6 years. So with that, I fully support this memo, and Ms. Patel and I are both available for any questions you have.
This is Marion. I have a question. Of the MES, do you have a average or median range in terms of what, how the employees scored? And I guess, or more specifically, if you have, how many employees fell within the 4 to 5 range?
So
How many fell in the other ranges?
They're coming in. I have only one managing director has not submitted their full sheet to me yet.
Right.
But generally, 70 to 80% of MES employees fall within the 4 to 5 range. If they don't, it's because of some relationship to performance. But generally, at least approximately 80% of the staff are in the 4 to 5 range.
And if I can, I'll add to that. The score of 3 is satisfactory performance. The score of 4 is that the employee exceeds the expectations in some of the categories. So if we are evaluated on 10 categories, then they exceed the exceed the expectations in maybe half of those categories. That's why many of our employees fall into 4 and above.
And of the 80%, are those employees generally representing all of the various wage and employee categories? So from the, lowest to the highest earners and management, you have kind of an equal range of those people receiving
Yes.
an evaluation of 4 to 5?
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions?
No, I think it's been put well done, as usual, with Mr. Cadet. And thank you very much for getting this together for us and for the people that are, once again, that are working for MES. I mean, we have to remember where they're coming from, what they're doing, and how long they're going to stay. And we want to put all that together. We do things like this. So thank you very much.
Judge, if I may ask for a motion then that the HR committee approve the proposed employee performance-based compensation as set forth by Dr. Glass and Mr. Patel for recommendation to the board. That would be great.
So we're so moved.
I'll second.
The recommendation to the board then is passed. Thank you.
You want to mention salary tax?
That included the salary.
I think, is that the end of, oh no, we have updated human resource policies to
Police,
discuss.
Update his policies.
I wasn't able to put the policies on a slide in a readable format, but if you do want me to pull up the Word documents for any of them, I can. Or we can just.
So for the majority of these policy updates, they are a few word changes that we can go through if you like, a few redactions, and the changing of the form. There is one policy that has extensive changes, and Mr. Barr is available to address any questions with the apprenticeship policy for for the OIT, operator and training program. But the other 3 are simple updates and a few word changes.
I don't think these changes were sent to the board, were they?
Yes.
I mean,
They were
not
part
the
of the
board. They were part of our package.
Yes, the committee. They haven't gone to the full board yet.
The committee,
They've gone
I'm
to the
sorry.
committee.
It may be helpful. For some reason, these policies escape my attention. Is it possible that you can just bring up on a screen where these minor changes occurred? And I guess for the out of service training, that might be a little bit more detailed, but if someone can quickly run through those, that would be great.
I have them somewhere in there, but there's a lot.
The first one was the tuition assistance program, which is 8.01. And I've left it in track changes mode.
So there was some question or concern with tuition reimbursement, and that it was a reimbursement. I don't know when it became confusing, but advanced payment is available for MES employees that seek tuition reimbursement. So even before, now they do have to earn a grade higher than a C. But that's the change in this first policy,
Yeah,
along with a line related to the IRS. And a change of date by May 2023, which I assume is just for
That's the
financial
latest
purposes.
one.
Yeah.
I think the only other change is we removed the actual forms, but still kept the reference to the.
Right, we
forms.
just, yeah.
Keep scrolling so she can see it.
That is this.
I've read through these and I know I went through it. I just forgot exactly where they went because I got about 40 of these on top of my desk here. So, but I know I looked at it.
That was the only changes to this particular.
Is that the one that was originally at 9/30/2004, so long ago? Under training and development, out service, or is that a different one?
This one's from 1996.
96. Okay, got it. Anything we need to do with it at the moment?
Well, I believe the agency is requesting that the HR committee adopt a motion to recommend that the full board change these policies. It can be done when it's policy by policy, or we could just wait till the end and adopt a motion for all the policies, or exempt out whichever ones you want to have further discussion on.
No, I think we might as well put everything together. I've got this right here on the board of directors. Back in May of 23. And we had the scores on that, percentages and things. I think that was one of them. There might be another one, but in any event, I have read them and I didn't see anything wrong coming out of it. Seems to be, yeah, there it is, 1996.
98. So this one was agency-wide training program and it just had minor
it's a-
updates. That's the only changes to this one.
And we just changed titles.
Yeah,
I know it's in here somewhere.
Next time.
well, this is 8.02.
We still have 8.1.
Oh, huh. Okay. Well, apparently I have to stop sharing. Sorry. I was looking at 8.02.
Can you hit that back again? The
There we go. This one's 8.02.
Can you drop it down a bit? Okay.
This is a new one. This is not the one we were just looking at. This would be the next one in the series. The previous one dealt with tuition reimbursement. This particular policy deals with training development, agency-wide training.
And it's very, very old.
Yes.
As you can see from the approval, 1998. So I think we have a very small thing going to that.
Changes. To the
Director, these to me are small.
Yeah.
This should be fine.
Okay.
Do we want the other small one or do you want the OIT one next? The OIT one did have a number of,
Well, why don't put them together? Is it going to hurt anything?
No, I would do the out service next, because you can
Okay.
zip through that.
all right, so this is 8.05, which is out service training. And this is again, only very minor. I don't even think there's actually any changes to this one. Oh, wait a minute, just down it.
Titles.
Yeah, titles, and then we
Titles.
deleted the attached form.
There we go.
This should be fine.
They seem to be penny ante, but,
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
And the last one.
all right.
I'll go ahead and make a motion that we accept it.
I think that
There's
Dan is
one
pulling
more.
one more up.
Oh,
This one has
okay.
more substantive changes in it. This relates to the,
I'm sorry,
this
that
one
was
is for the
nine.
operator training program.
that was 929 that we had. That was in 16. Okay. I think I've seen that as well.
This is the last one, 8.03 apprenticeship policy for operator in training program. And it has also been around since at least 1995.
Okay, can you run it through a little bit so we see the differences and things?
Yeah, most of the changes, this is Tim Barr, the Managing Director for Water and Wastewater. And most of the changes that you see are help clarify the language in the policy, but the majority of them bring the apprenticeship policy in line with the career ladder that you approved several months ago. So that's why there's so many multiple changes.
Yeah.
So now the policy will be consistent with what you've already approved.
And I think that that's, again, a minor matter that's come through, and there's a reason for it.
Yeah, it's just cleaning up the document to reflect what you've already agreed to.
Yep.
And there are some wording changes that, it's an old policy and we just really needed to update a lot of the words.
Yeah.
Make it more clear.
And I assume these have been reviewed also by council.
Yes,
Thank you, Sean.
yes, what you see is, I've already reviewed all of these.
Yeah.
All right. Because we wouldn't be necessarily in a position to compare how they align with other changes that were previously approved. So, but assuming that's the case, they should be fine.
Yeah. You see on here on page 5, there's some more things that had come and gone, but nonetheless, they seem to be entirely appropriate. So, and you agree with that, Mr. Sean?
Yes,
Yeah. It's sort of the pip of the pop there at some point. We'll get there.
It should look better once we accept all the
Yeah,
changes.
those have gone and new ones have come in. New numbers and amounts.
I reviewed all these and I feel comfortable making the motion for approval.
I agree.
So we will recommend to the board its approval of the package of the various training policies that have been presented today.
And I might say, I think everybody's put a excellent job on these matters. So those of you who are there and will leave, thank you.
Everything on the active agenda.
At this point, is there any further discussion on any HR matter that we need to take care of before we go into closed session?
I don't think so. Pam, do you know of any others, or Jana, that we have not gone over so far?
Is that enough? That's everything I am aware of.
At this point, then, this portion of the meeting will be closed under general provisions, Article Section 3-305B, to discuss generally, Article 3-305B relates to the discussion of the appointment, employment assignment, promotion, discipline, demotion, compensation, removal, resignation, or performance evaluation of appointees, employees, or officials over whom the public body has jurisdiction, or any other personal matter that affects one or more specific individuals. So with that, we'll close the meeting.
Ms. Wong, we do need a motion
Yeah.
and a vote to close the open
Sorry.
session.
Can I have a motion then to close the open session
So moved.
and to commence the closed session? Thank you.
So
A
moved.
second?
Second here.